Okay, this is what I'm calling arithmetic sequences with gaps. And this is a foundational level question. It's specified to be arithmetic, and you have two terms. That's a U3, 35, and U7, 51. And the goal is to find the value of U1 and D. Common difference. Now I'm calling it a gap because the information that's given here is, there's some in between that is missing, thus gap. And some of these questions you can solve them just by doing some strategy like this. Say that's U1, U2, U3 is 35, 4, 5, 6, 7, 51. Sometimes just listing it out like that is enough, and you can figure out, well, if you know this number, which is the middle, then you can go from there. Now, that happens to be the case in this problem, but let me give you a different method that's a little more useful for all problems. And the equation is this equation. We're doing equation work with this one, and we're going to use this twice, once with the 35 and then again with the 51. And then we're going to use those two equations together to solve this. So let's first use the 35, and I'll do that in orange. U1 is unknown. D is unknown. Well, we know it's the third number, so I'm going to put 3 there. Or we can just already change that to a 2 overall. In fact, let's do that. 35 equals U1 plus 2D. I like to have the coefficients in front of the unknown, so 2D. All right, next one. Let's change it up to blue, and we'll do it again with the 51. So we'll put the 51 here instead. And that was the 7th. All right, so we have 2 equations and 2 unknowns, and then this is going to take us back to your intermediate algebra. We're going to use these together to solve for U1 and D. And both the unknowns are on the same side. That lends itself to elimination. If we take, let's say this one, because things are larger here. We take this equation and we subtract the first equation from it. We'll cancel out U1. Let's set that up over here. Okay, I'm going to subtract the whole thing. And let's see, 51 minus 35, that's going to give us 16. U1 minus U1 is nothing, and then 60 minus 2D, 4D. Okay, and if we divide by 4, then D is also 4. So D is counted by 4. And that's useful here. So this would be 39, 43, 47, 51. And we can keep going backwards. Now, if this were really far out, like say this weren't U3, this were U200, we wouldn't want to go backwards. So we need a better method, and that is that we're just going to plug this 4 back into one of these 2 equations. And we'll use the easier of the 2, this 35. If we use that, but with D is 4, we can figure U1. Okay, so 31, let's subtract 8, 27. Okay, so there's a more robust way to solve for D and U1 if the numbers are a little bit more complicated.